Hi everyone, and welcome to the Google Apps for Education Professional Development webinar series. We're really excited today to be joined by Kelly Mendoza, who's the Senior Manager of Professional Development at Common Sense Media. Today we're going to be talking about how to teach our students to become good digital citizens. This is especially important for schools that have recently implemented Google Apps for Education or other online tools. So with that, I will go ahead and pass the presenter privileges over to Kelly, and she can share some of the resources that are available through her organization.
Great. Thank you so much. I just want to make sure that everybody can hear me.
Yep, we can hear you.
Okay, great. I'm really excited to be here today with Google Apps for Education and presenting to you on this topic. So I manage the professional development program at Common Sense, and today I'm going to be providing an introduction of our comprehensive K-12 curriculum for digital citizenship. So let's get started, and I definitely look forward to hearing your questions after we have a few minutes left at the end.
Great, and that's a great point, Kelly. So if you have questions along the way, please put them in the Q&A window of your WebEx control panel. This is denoted by the little question mark. So any questions you may have, put them in there, and then Kelly and I will be able to answer them towards the end of the webinar.
Yep, definitely. So you all are interested or maybe using Google Apps, and so you're likely pretty well versed in kids and technology and technology, the role it plays in kids' lives. And I think schools are really in the middle of things. So you're integrating technology in meaningful ways. You're seeing students use technology. You're using Google Apps. And then, but there's obviously issues that come up. We definitely celebrate the great things that kids can do with media and technology, but we want to avoid the perils and the sort of pitfalls. And so that's what I'm going to be talking about today. So you may have heard of Common Sense Media. Let me tell you a little bit about us first. We are a nonprofit based in San Francisco, and we're dedicated, our mission is that we're dedicated to improving the lives of kids and families by providing the trustworthy information they need to thrive in a world of media and technology. So everything we do is aimed towards that goal. And we kind of break down what we do as an organization into 4 parts. So the first part is we rate. We have, if you're a parent especially, you may be familiar with our ratings and reviews. We have a library of over 16,000 ratings and reviews on media titles, including websites, movies, games, TV shows, books, music, and even apps. And I encourage you to check that out. We educate, so that's what I'm going to be talking about today is our education program for K-12. And I'll be focusing on our curriculum, which is available, and also introducing a couple other products that we, programs that we offer educators. We advocate, so we do policy work on behalf of kids and media. And for instance, one of the hot topics is privacy in kids. So we come to the table to try to advocate for kids' policy. And then investigate. So we have a research program that we launched late last year on any issues around media and technology and kids. Really exciting. So I need to keep you on your toes today, and I thought a pop quiz would be fun. So take a guess about how many hours per week does the average child spend with media and technology, and this was from 2010. The answer is 53. And so that breaks down to be about 7.5 hours a day. This is outside of school with media, and that's really powerful. I mean, that's a lot of time that kids are spending, and it's a powerful socialization tool. Just a side note, back in 2010, this number was 45, which is an increase to 53. And now I can't go forward. Hold on a minute. All right. Another question, how many texts does the average teen exchange per month? Take a guess. The answer is about almost 3,500. And this is about equivalent to exchanging 7 messages per waking hour. So, teens in particular and tweens are really texting a lot. They prefer it, actually, because it's faster, easier, and more fun. I'm sure you're aware of that. And then what's the average age for a kid to get their first cell phone? You take a guess. The answer is between 9 and 10. And again, that was a couple years ago, so it may be aged down at this point. But basically the point is that we are handing over powerful tools to kids really with no roadmap of how to use them responsibly and respectfully, and that's what we'll be covering today. So let's just get a sense of the digital media landscape for kids. We're living in this digital revolution, and changes are happening with media that are changing the way we live and the way kids live. They live in an anywhere, anytime culture where digital media is accessible easily. They live in a time where they can perhaps learn on their own, and much more encouraged to learn on their own with digital media. And of course, we as educators really want to tap into that. And play-based is another sort of feature. Often those play-based interests, whether it's formal or informal spaces, is another feature of digital media. It's participatory, obviously, so many of you probably grew up with that passive model of media where you consumed mass media, but you had little opportunity to interact. And kids are really encouraged to interact and share their voice and participate. Scale is an issue that comes up. So one of the, students are often sharing and posting and doing things online without thinking about sort of the vast scale of the internet, whether it's who is seeing what they're sharing or where they're getting information from. Anonymity is something that's pretty unique to online spaces. So it's not necessarily negative, but it can be a vehicle for negative behavior. For instance, it's easier to say things online and not say them face-to-face, and this is kind of what happens when kids start treating each other mean online, or even issues with cyberbullying coming up. Replicability is another theme. So this is like speaking to the cut and paste culture that kids are living in, where they can easily copy, paste, forward, spread information. And this can be beneficial, obviously, especially if you're like remixing and creating new things. But it also can be a vehicle for sharing information that maybe was meant to be private, or amplifying negative behavior, that kind of thing, by spreading rumors and so forth. Searchable. So kids are posting all sorts of information about themselves. This is part of their process of, exploring their identity and developing. But all of it, good and bad, can be searchable, and kids aren't wired to think about the consequences. And that's one of the things that our curriculum addresses. Persistent. So, of course, once information is online, it can be persistent and leave a permanent record. And we call this trail that kids leave online a digital footprint. So that's one of the things that we address in the curriculum is, what is your digital footprint? Why is it important to create a positive digital footprint? And then finally, these are all 21st century skills. Requiring digital literacy and citizenship. It's a 21st century skill. And it's important that we teach kids not only how to use them, the tools, but how to use them responsibly. And if you've come across the Partnership for 21st Century Skills, I encourage you to check them out and check out their framework and where digital citizenship fits in that. So you're probably all at schools or maybe in some sort of learning environment, and you've probably had a lot of opportunities with media and technology and your students, and a lot of challenges, I'm guessing. So in our curriculum, we like to address both of those things. We like to harness the potential of the opportunities that digital media affords kids, and then also deal with the challenges in a very real way that speaks to kids and what they're living in their experiences. So as I'm going through the rest of the presentation, I encourage you to go to our website at commonsensemedia.org/educators is the educator part of it. And you can register and access all of the curriculum and the materials, and you can sort of look through as I'm going through. I'm just going to give you a sort of sampler of some of our curriculum and places to begin. So before we dive into that, we wholeheartedly believe at Common Sense that to address digital literacy and citizenship, it really takes a community. It really takes a village, so to speak, to address these issues successfully because, as you know, it's not just having to do with teachers or schools, but parents and then, of course, students. And so in our curriculum, we offer guidance for all of these, for schools, students, and parents. And we especially try to bring parents into the loop in learning about these issues and bring them into the fold as a piece of the puzzle, so to speak. So you may have heard of digital citizenship. You may already be really familiar with it. But if you're not, let me just provide an overview of the terms that I'm using. So digital literacy to us, breaking it down, is sort of the head of the curriculum. It's having to do with being able to understand, evaluate, and create digital media. So kids need to have the technology skills as well as sort of media research and information literacies. And these literacies involve critical thinking and analysis, and that's why we kind of put it into the head. The heart of our curriculum is digital citizenship. So the heart helps kids reflect on how they interact with others appropriately and with empathy, and it challenges them to think critically about how they treat others, how they express themselves, how they interact appropriately with others online, and whether it's their friends, family, or even the larger online community. And then safety and security is another topic area of our curriculum, and this is sort of seen as the body, so to speak. This really is sort of the internet safety aspect of the curriculum. We want kids to protect themselves, to avoid unwanted contact, to protect their information, online security, and how to avoid scams and identity theft and things like that. So together, all of these things work to develop kids who think critically, behave safely, and participate responsibly in a digital world. So let me just introduce you to how we approach this topic and how our curriculum is framed. So we have a very balanced tone to this issue. We recognize that kids and teachers, we love media and technology. There are important 21st century skills that kids can gain from using technology. So it doesn't just focus on telling kids what not to do. That's why the activities are designed to teach students the knowledge and skills they need to avoid the pitfalls but embrace the potential of media. It's research-based, so in developing the curriculum, we worked in partnership with Dr. Howard Gardner at the Harvard Graduate School of Education and the Good Play Project. And they actually did some research on digital ethics, which we based the framework of the curriculum on. And basically, they looked at ethical fault lines that young media users fall into, and the curriculum was created around that research. So we worked closely in developing the lessons with them as advisors. And then it's flexible. So you may be wanting to tackle a lot of these issues. You may be wanting to start with one particular issue. And the curriculum is designed in a way where you can start anywhere, that you don't have to go in a linear fashion, so to speak. You can cherry pick lessons, sort of design your own curriculum based off of that, design your own program. And we really want teachers to start wherever they need to start. For instance, some teachers want to start with cyberbullying and then sort of expand off from there. Some teachers want to address privacy issues, maybe something happened at your school that would be relevant to start with. So, and best of all, for educators, the curriculum is available at no cost to you, and that's because of our philanthropic funders, MacArthur Foundation, Sherwood, and Hewlett Foundation. So when you go on our website and register as an educator, you can access everything at no cost to you. So a little bit more about the lessons and how we view student learning. So the lessons themselves are student-centered and developmentally appropriate. We really engage students in real-life issues and scenarios that they may face in a typical day, and have them sort of grapple with those issues and have it be real for them. We encourage a lot of role play and critical thinking and group discussion. So especially in the middle and high school parts of the curriculum, kids are looking at real life situations, they're taking perspectives of different stakeholders, they're critically thinking about decision making, and that's really getting at the sort of ethical heart of the curriculum. We offer really great, powerful videos. We have a lot of excellent videos for students and for parents and teachers. So our students that we've worked with and the schools that we've worked with have just raved about our videos and how real they are, because we feature real kids talking about real issues, and then that speaks to students in sort of launching the discussion about these different things. And it's low tech or high tech. So we know that ideally you want to be in a school with access to technology, but a lot of schools don't have access, and you can still teach about these issues without having access. But we also have opportunities where you can sort of tech it up and take it up a notch with technology in the lessons themselves as an option. So we take a framework that's a little bit different, and we call it the rings of responsibility. And what I like about it is it's getting students to think beyond their own actions and think about how their actions affect others. And this is a strong theme in the curriculum. So students reflect on not only how they should be responsible for themselves, but family and friends, and then a larger community, both online and offline. So they're really thinking about who do you have responsibility to, and beyond just themselves. And then finally, we're aligned to these different standards. I know that Common Core is a big one that schools are integrating right now, and we are aligned to all three, ISTE, ASL, and Common Core. And then before we jump in, just to give you a sense of developmental aspects. So the lessons were created to be developmentally appropriate for this topic. So at different stages, kids face different issues using digital technology, and they need to learn about these issues in ways that are best for their age and developmental level. So for instance, in elementary, it's more concrete. There's repetition and reinforcement. We have things like sentence starters to get kids going, and then there's wonderful illustrations, sort of drawing activities and creative activities that kids can be involved in. In middle school, a lot of the lessons start developing sort of ethical thinking practices and things like being able to take other people's perspectives in a situation, working with case studies to analyze different scenarios, and working in groups to discuss and come up with your opinions and provide evidence to back up what you're saying. Making decisions, ethical decisions, and then obviously we have a lot of great videos to help spark those discussions. And then in high school is a little bit similar to middle school, except we get much more in-depth with ethical fault lines and considering sort of community impact of some of these things. We also look at thinking about the future, the impact on your career and on college. I mentioned digital footprint. So in high school in particular, that's a huge issue when kids are starting to apply for college or jobs, to think about their digital footprint and what happens when somebody Googles them. There's emphasis on collaboration and connection and social networking much more in high school. And then we have a lot of debate in high school. That's always a great way to deal with these issues, is to frame debates. So to break down sort of the entire curriculum, we have these three topic areas: safety and security, research and information literacy, and digital citizenship, and these 9 units. So I encourage you to start where you're interested and sort of just explore a little bit. On our website, you can search by grade level, you can search by topic area, or by unit. So let's start with just a quick dive into safety and security. In this topic area, the units are covering things like internet safety, safely talking online and avoiding unwanted contact, avoiding scams and identity theft, and then understanding privacy policies and how websites use your information. So I'm going to start actually with a very young kindergarten through first grade lesson called Going Places Safely. If you teach elementary and you teach younger grades, this is a great sort of launching lesson to talk about online safety, basically. And here's the essential question. When you look at the lesson plans, you'll see that there's also learning objectives and key vocabulary words, and it explains to you step by step how to execute the lesson. But I'm just giving you this essential question so you get an idea. In this lesson, there's a video called My Online Neighborhood, and really the point of this lesson is to create an analogy between being safe in offline, in the real world, and being safe online, and to create that connection that the way we are safe is actually very similar. So in this lesson, students take a virtual field trip to experience different places on the internet, and it's kind of the analogy is, pack your things, we're going on a field trip, but we're going online, and students can go to like the Smithsonian or the National Zoo and explore things. They learn about the safety rules in the video that they watched, and then they sort of draw a little postcard here in their activity sheet about the favorite thing that they saw, and we review safety rules again. So this is really a basic internet safety and security starter lesson for very young kids. But they really love the video, and it's a very positive take on, going online but staying safe. And I'm sure that if you're teaching at this level, you can think of places that you could take your students on this virtual field trip and easily think of ways you might integrate it. Another topic area is research and information literacy. So in this topic area, the units have to do with searching strategies for effective online searching, evaluating the credibility and trustworthiness of websites, and then also how to create citations and be respectful and cite your work. So let me give you a sample lesson, a taste of a lesson from this area. It's for grades 4 and 5. It's called Rating Websites. And in this lesson, students learn how to evaluate the trustworthiness of informational websites, basically. So they're learning that not all websites are of equal quality, and that you should really ask yourself some questions to think about the credibility and trustworthiness of sites. So in this lesson, you give students a scenario that they're going to be writing a research paper on endangered animals, and there are certain websites that they're going to evaluate to see if they're effective for their research or not. So one of the websites that they evaluate is actually, if you take a look, Help Save the Endangered Pacific Northwest Tree Octopus from Extinction. I'm guessing that a lot of you have seen this site before and know that it's a hoax. And aside from it being a hoax, there's actually parts of the site that are not updated, or that sort of giveaways as to it's not a good site for research, and it's a hoax. So we offer some sites are hoaxes, some are sort of mid-grade quality sites for research, and then others are high quality. So students fill out this form, they score their site, looking at questions like, can the author be trusted? Will the site have the information I need? Is it right for other kids my age? Those kinds of things, and then they come up with a final score. And so the learning here is that, you really need to critically analyze sites that you're using, especially for research, and here's one way to do it. It's really getting kids to start asking questions about the sites that they visit and not take it at face value. So I recommend that one as a starting point for research and information literacy. And then our last sort of signature area is digital citizenship. So this is our signature area, I say, because we have the most content, including lesson plans and videos in this area, and it's sort of the heart of the curriculum because it's really focusing on safe, respectful, and responsible behavior. And there are 5 units in this topic area. So one of the units focuses on the role of media in our lives, gets kids to think about anything from how much do they actually use media. One of the lessons, they're actually logging how much media they use and sort of thinking about the role it plays in their lives. So it's a good way to sort of introduce them thinking about how much and the impact on them. Another unit is on privacy and digital footprints. I'll be introducing a couple lessons on that. And cyberbullying and treating others kindly. So we have a unit that's basically about how it's called connected culture, and it's about how we treat others. If you're interested in addressing cyberbullying and doing education around that, I would definitely look in that unit. Self-expression and identity. So one of the units, this is great for middle school and high school. It really asks kids to think about how they're presenting themselves online and whether it's sort of the benefits and drawbacks to sort of pretending to be someone else or presenting yourself in a way that maybe isn't true to who you really are, and exploring that. And then we have a unit called Respecting Creative Work that's about giving and getting credit. So this unit is really about copyright and fair use, but it's framed in a way of respect and being respectful and responsible when you use other people's work. So if you're dealing with issues of, plagiarism or students not citing their work, that kind of thing, I would definitely check out that unit. So what I want to show you is just a couple sample lessons. And one of them has to do with privacy and digital footprints. And I want to show you this unit in particular because we have a sort of progression about how kids learn about digital footprints. So from very young, kids can learn about digital footprints, and through the lesson Follow the Digital Trail, they learn that you can leave a sort of trail of information about yourself. And in the lesson, they explore the trail of Ellie the elephant, who leaves a sort of big trail, big footprints, and then Minnie the mouse, who leaves little tiny footprints. And so there's an analogy there that you can leave a big footprint or you can leave tiny footprints. But there's also students learn that you can share things about yourself that are okay to share, that are a positive part of your digital footprint. Then in middle school, they do $1 trillion footprint, which I'm going to show you in a minute. And then in high school, we have a lesson called College Bound, where students are learning about the impacts of their digital footprint on college or job applications. And they sort of do an activity where they're comparing they role play college admissions officers, and they're comparing the profiles, the online profiles of 2 candidates that they're trying to decide on. So in $1 trillion footprint, this is our middle school privacy and digital footprint lesson. Students really learn about what is a digital footprint and what does yours convey. So we have this really great animated introductory video that gets them thinking about digital footprint. And then in the lesson activity, they basically role play that they are producers of a TV show called $1 Trillion Footprint, and they're looking at selecting a candidate. So one of the candidates, and they're looking at online profiles, and this is becoming a more common practice. So it's really, you can make it real for kids that employers and people actually do this. So what they do is look at Linda's profile, and this is just a screenshot of part of what we show students, and Jason's profile, and they're looking for a host that is honest and that works well with others. So students fill out a worksheet where they provide evidence from the profiles that they look at that Linda or Jason is honest and works well with others. And then in groups, they have to give a pitch to the class as to which candidate they chose and why, and provide evidence. And you'll see that students will always have, it'll be divided. because this is sort of designed in a way to be ambiguous in terms of not saying that Jason or Linda is, clearly better than the other, but to show that when different people look you up online and see your online profiles and see the pictures and the things you post about yourself, people have different reactions, and you need to consider what kind of reactions the sort of online world will have of you. And what's great about this activity is at the end, students create their digital footprint and what they want it to look like in 10 years. So this is a foot from our handout, but it's really getting kids to think about positively and aspirational kind of thinking. So for instance, they might say, I want a news headline that I want to run a marathon in record time, or I want to win a writing award. I want to meet the president, and then he says that I'm awesome. And then another one would be, I want to graduate college with honors. So again, this is a really fun activity, not only to teach kids about digital footprint, but to think about how they want to create a positive digital footprint. So moving on, I'm assuming that a lot of you and a lot of schools and educators do want to address cyberbullying, whether it's a school policy that you're including, or it's being mandated that you do cyberbullying education. And we offer wonderful resources on addressing this issue. So in this lesson, it's a middle school lesson called Crossing the Line. Kids answer the question, when does inappropriate behavior cross the line, and what can you do? So they're really grappling with, what is this cyberbullying? Is it not? And they're sort of, they first learn about these different sort of online behaviors, flaming, cyberbullying, those types of things, and they sort of classify it. So Stacy's story is a really great video if you're looking to start somewhere with middle school. And Stacy tells a story about being bullied. So students watch this very powerful video and answer some discussion questions about it, and then they grapple with a few different scenarios related to crossing the line. So I would recommend that as maybe a starting point for middle school. And then for high school, we have a lesson called Taking Perspectives. And in this lesson, students are really thinking about how online cruelty affects a variety of people involved, and not just the bully or the person who's targeted. Because as we all know, cyberbullying actually has to do with a lot of people. It has to do with the school, people's families, friends, and it's much bigger than just the bully and the target. So if you've ever seen Friday Night Lights, I'm assuming some of you may be fans, we have a series of clips from an episode that shows a cyberbullying situation from this TV show. And students basically take perspectives of these different characters who were involved in the situation, ranging from Lila, who was bullied, to Brittany, who was actually the bully. Tammy is the school guidance counselor. Ben and Buddy are parents. And they sort of learned that, everybody plays a role and everybody's affected in a different way by filling out their worksheets. So this is sort of getting to more in-depth thinking about taking perspectives and about how a community is affected by negative online behavior. So I've just got a couple more things to share, and then we can go to questions. So I'm just, that's just a sampler of what we offer. I mean, I definitely encourage you to explore some of the lessons on our site. And also know that we have technology integration ideas. So at the end of each lesson, we have extension activities if you want to do more or extend learning. And a lot of those extension activities have media creation using free online tools, or maybe online tools that you can find. For instance, in this one, we have students creating a podcast. So we really try to offer opportunities for media integration. And in high school, if you're going to be using high school, you'll see we have an icon that indicates the sort of high-tech option. And for instance, a lot of schools are interested in social networking and addressing those issues. These lessons that are listed, you can include a sort of social networking component. And one idea would be students creating profiles as if they were a historical figure. And what would this historical figure have tweeted or put on their profile, that kind of thing. It could be a really interesting integration into social studies or history class, for instance. Just a note about curriculum effectiveness and what we've found. So last school year from 2010 to 2011 school year, we did an evaluation of our middle school curriculum, and we looked at knowledge, attitudes, and behaviors and change in the students. And here are some of our findings from that study. And this was from a third-party evaluation, by the way. So we've seen some really positive highlights from what kids are learning and getting out of the curriculum. For instance, 90% of students felt confident in their ability to be good digital citizens. We saw an increase in social networking safety behaviors from using privacy settings or deciding to ask permission before sharing information about somebody else online. And then we also had some teachers, high positive feedback from teachers. So 93% of teachers reported that it benefited students, and overall it was really, really great response, and we're extremely excited about that. And in addition, I want to mention that we can't forget about parents, and we really make it easy for you to provide information and reach out to parents. So with each lesson, when you go on our lesson page and you're looking at the HTML page, on the right, you'll see all of the parent materials that accompany that lesson. So we have tip sheets that could be distributed or handed, have students take home to parents. We have videos, and we also have homework activities that encourage parent and family involvement. And it's really sparked a discussion a lot of times between students and parents, and actually increased parent involvement and learning about these issues. There are also other ideas with parent involvement, like you could have a parent night, or maybe you'd have a cyberbullying awareness campaign at your school, those kinds of things, to really encourage parents to be in the fold. And as you know, it's really difficult to address these things that sort of uses of digital media and technology inside and outside of school. Parents are always part of the equation there. So in addition to the program, the K-12 Digital Literacy and Citizenship curriculum that I just shared with you, we also offer a parent media education program if you're interested in specifically parent education, if you do parent education at your school. We have two toolkits. One is a cyberbullying toolkit that offers sort of a jump start to getting started with cyberbullying education. We will be offering an E-rate toolkit that coming soon that will provide you a roadmap for E-rate education requirements. And then also we have something really exciting coming out in August called Digital Passport. So let me show you that very quickly. In August, we'll be releasing a digital passport. It's a web-based, student-guided, interactive learning experience with a series of mini-games for 3rd through 5th graders. It's sort of a way to introduce students to the rules of the road as they're beginning to go online at the beginning of the year, signing their AUPs or RUPs, those kinds of things. And it's a lot of fun. Kids play these games, they earn badges for all the modules, and then they earn their passport for all of the 6 badges once they complete it. And we also offer easy-to-use reporting tools for teachers. So I just wanted to sort of keep that on your radar if you're interested. The website is there, digitalpassport.org, and it's not online available yet, but it will be coming. And then also, if you haven't already, please register on our site. I've listed it there, commonsensemedia.org. It's the education section of our site, and you can access the curriculum, the toolkit, the parent media education program, all online at no cost to you. So thank you so much for listening. I'm really excited to tell you about our resources and to talk about digital citizenship, and I guess now we'll open it up for questions.
Awesome, Kelly. This was great. I think I learned so much even from this presentation. So please put your questions in the Q&A window, and then I will direct them to Kelly. So the first one is, when did you say the digital passport was coming?
It will be launched in August for back to school. We don't have a specific date. It's August 2012.
Great. And then another comment saying that they think that even middle and high schoolers would like a certificate of completion.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, we're sort of thinking through sort of especially middle school options for that. So that's a great comment. Thank you.
Another question is, will the digital passport cost money?
I can't totally speak to that yet because I'm not sure. I think the answer is no. It will be available to schools, but it's, I think, how we're working as a sponsorship model with companies sponsoring the school. So I would encourage you to check back because I am almost positive that it will be available to you. At no cost.
Awesome. And we will be doing another webinar closer to the launch of that tool. So definitely check back on our webinar page so that you can find out more information.
Yes, definitely.
So another question is, what do you have any checklists or anything specifically for 9th through 12th grade?
I guess I'm not clear on what the question is asking. We have our scope and sequence for high school, if you're looking for a place to start in terms of which lessons. But I'm kind of not clear on the checklist part of that question.
Great. So if you ask that question, if you want to clarify if that answer wasn't what you were looking for, you can go ahead and do that in the Q&A window. Similar, how you have the taking perspective, I guess, curriculum for 11th through 12th grade. Do you have something similar for 9th through 10th? Would it be possible to just adapt the 11th to 12th grade curriculum for 9th through 10?
Definitely, definitely. That's a great question. So for scope and sequence reasons, we do designate some lessons as 9 or 10 or 11, 12. But, you know your students and you know the issues, so that lesson could easily be used for 9 to 10, and then we offer additional lessons on cyberbullying. That's not the only lesson, is my point. There are additional lessons in high school for that. So that's a great question. And we've even had educators age up some of our middle school lessons and then age down some of the high school lessons if it's appropriate. We have one lesson, for instance, in the privacy unit for high school that's addressing specifically sexting and inappropriate sharing via text message in particular. And some middle schools are dealing with that, and they're using that lesson and aging it down because it's happening younger. So yes, definitely, it's not a hard and fast grade level recommendation.
Great. So is there a way that students can take the course online in a lab at their own speed, and without a teacher leading the course?
No, we don't offer a student-led course, but we do have, a couple caveats to that. So we have Digital Passport, and that's student-led for 3rd through 5th graders. And we also offer it's a student-led course on iTunes University. So if you look us up on iTunes University, you'll find that we have a high school student-led course where they can create their playlist and go through the course that way. So I guess then we do, and we just launched that recently. So if you do it, I would love to have your feedback on it.
Great. And so you also highlighted the Friday Night Light video clips. Do you have other video clips available online aimed for high school students?
Yes, we have a lot of videos for high school, for all grade levels. The high school videos, we feature, Friday Night Lights is the one where we feature like part of a TV show. We also have something that we worked on with MTV on sexting. So we have a video in collaboration with MTV. And then the rest of our videos, we feature basically real kids talking about their real issues. So for instance, there's one video in the self-expression and identity unit featuring a teen named Ramon talking about, how people present themselves online. Is it real? Is it fake? What's the impact? And we find that students really love these videos of real kids talking about their real issues. So I would encourage you to just sort of start browsing the lessons. And the videos you'll see when you go into a lesson, they're always on the right-hand side of the screen. And maybe I'll show you actually, since I'm sharing my entire screen here. Let's just go into a lesson if we have a couple minutes here. Can you see that, Becky?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay, perfect. So this is our educator homepage. And you see at the top you can register if you haven't done that already. And then on the left you'll see our different programs. We have our curriculum, the parent education program. I didn't mention professional development, but obviously this is professional development right here, but we offer a free online course for teachers to get trained on our curriculum. So if you're really ready to go and ready to start, I would encourage you to go through this training. It's about, the time varies, but it's about, per grade level, it's about an hour and a half for the full training. And then we have our webinars. But let me go back to the question, which was about videos. So we'll go into the curriculum and we can choose let's go to high school. And we're going to go to, I was just talking about the Ramon video. Who are you online? So right now I'm in a lesson page, and you'll see that we have an HTML version online, but you can also download the PDF if you prefer to do that. And then the student handouts are often in PDFs linked right here. But you'll see on the right here, we have lesson videos, and then parent resources right here. So oftentimes there's always a parent tip sheet. We almost always have a parent video, and these are really helpful for teachers too, to just get briefed on the issues. And then here's our student video. And again, so we do offer a lot of videos, but in terms of the sort of TV shows, not as much, because it's difficult to get the rights to those kinds of things. So, but definitely a lot of video content for kids that kids love.
Great. So we have time for a couple more questions. In the Q&A box, I see, how has your parent training curriculum been received?
Well, it's excellent. That's actually our first educational program was for parents. And let me go there really quickly, our parent media education program. So if you are a parent coordinator at your school, you're interested in doing parent education and outreach on these issues, I would encourage you to visit that program, because we have basically everything that you need to get started. We offer PowerPoint templates, we offer parent tip sheets, on a variety of topics. We have internet safety here, but we have over 40 tip sheets, and they're also in Spanish. And then these family media agreements. So in terms of the parent media education program, it's been really well received. And that's actually why we developed our curriculum for students, because schools were saying, oh, this is such a great program, we love it, our parents love it, now what are you creating for students? So it's definitely, the parent advice and media advice is a very strong component of Common Sense Media overall. So if you're interested in educating parents, check it out. We have a lot of resources for that. Everything you need.
Awesome. Well, it looks like that's all the questions that we have for now. I want to thank you again, Kelly, for providing us with all this information, and hopefully our attendees will take it back to their schools and to their homes to teach their students and children on how to become good digital citizens. Excellent. Thank you so much for having me. And I do want to mention that this is the first of several webinars we're doing with Google Apps for education. And I think our next one is on April 18th, and it's on privacy, the issue of privacy and online privacy management. So definitely mark that on your calendar. And we also have additional webinars that we offer under the online training. You can check out our webinar calendar as well. Awesome. So thank you so much. Thanks so much, and hope to see you in a few weeks, guys. Take care. Great. Thanks, everybody. Take care. Bye. Bye-bye.